Like to call this meeting to order, March 6th, 2014, at 6:09. Have an invocation, Mr. Christie.
Mr. Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Heavenly Father, we once again want to thank you for all the blessings you have bestowed on the citizens of China Grove and the surrounding communities as well as the world. We want to ask that you bless this world of ours, try to bring peace to all of the uprisings that are actually starting. Just calm everybody's nerves, try to keep it peaceful. We ask you for words, wisdom, and knowledge as we address the issues here before us at this city council meeting. We ask that you help us to make the right decisions for the citizens of China Grove. We ask this in your son's name we pray. Amen.
Mr. Perry, pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, everybody is present, except the city attorney, which just showed up right now. Have the minutes of the last February 6th regular council meeting.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes from the February 6, 2014 minutes. Excuse me, sorry.
Have a motion on the floor by Councilman Brooks to approve the February 6th, 2014 minutes. Have a second from Councilman McCray. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Motion is carried. Next item on the agenda would be the financial report, City Secretary.
Okay, at the end of the month of February, we had Techstar Bank, our main checking account. We had $14,501.53 in insured investors account. $141,126.22 in savings account. And the regular checking was $142,215.71, for a total of $297,843.46. We had the same amount in the office petty cash fund and in the drawer that we use for municipal court, which is a total of $200. Randolph Brooks, we have a CD, which is $159,538.98. That's going to be up on March the 17th, and we'll just roll it over like we have to. Security Service Federal Credit Union, we have a certificate of deposit that is $160,474.75. $345.68.
Okay. Have any questions? Go to Ms. Floyd report.
For the month of February 2014, kept by the city was $1,484.39. Remitted to the state was $868.61. Total $2,353.
Is there any questions from the council? Okay. Fire department? report?
Mayor, the fire chief said he had something come up and he can't be here. He gave me his report.
Okay. For the month of February, total calls were 39. Structure fires was 6, vehicle fires 0, grass fires, brush fires 2, unauthorized burns 1, activated fire alarms 5, motor vehicle collision 6, other and assist the public 2, first responder calls medical 17, Acadia transports in the city 5, calls in the city 12, calls in the county 9, mutual aid calls 18. Do we have a list of various addresses in February for the summary of the calls? Council have any questions? Okay. At this time, the citizens to be heard. First person on the list would be Mr. Duff.
Good evening, everyone, Mayor, members of the council, city staff. For the record, my name is Dennis Dunk, and I just once again want to speak to this council in regards to 2 code violations that were turned in on November the 16th, then reported to this council at the December meeting, the January meeting, and now, the February meeting, and now once again on March. There was a code violation involving tall grass and accessory buildings without a primary structure located at 6820 Via Cunha. And once again, illegal dumping taking place and a mobile home which was not grandfathered through its sale at 6720 Via Cunha. And I haven't really heard from anybody. I have stayed in touch with the mayor and with the city staff. And I think my last comment from the city staff was the fact that the revision to a letter was going to be handled by the attorneys for the city of China Grove. And then on January 30th, I spoke to the mayor, and he assured me that the revision of the letter would be done. And then I called him on February the 11th on the revision of the letter to include the accessory buildings. After that was said, I requested under the Open Records Act from the city staff a copy of the revised letter, which here it is, March 5th. I still have not received any notification. So I'm kind of at a standstill on what the city is doing. I believe the blame is being forwarded to our city attorney. So I'm not going to ask, I know I'm not supposed to ask questions at this time, but I would appreciate it if our city attorney would please do what they can for the citizens of China Grove, especially on code compliance issues that are in violation. And I'd like to remind every council member here that each and every one of you did take an oath of office, most of which I administered to you at the point in time that you would administer and uphold the laws of the city, of this city, and of the state of Texas. And at this point in time, I cannot see where any council person here has upheld the ordinances which are the city laws. That's all my comment in regard to the code violations. I'm sure one of y'all would begin to start working on that process. On the second matter, I was concerned about an article that I reviewed in the Wilson County News in regards to the T-Close, possible T-Close investigation of the city of China Grove on our police officers. And it's my understanding that T-Close has 2 of our police officers on active duty even since the December 9th disbursement of the police department and the separation agreements, which were signed shortly thereafter on there. Now, it's my understanding that F5s were given for just 1 patrolman, which is Officer Damien Balderas, but yet the other 2 police officers are shown to be active in the T-Close files, which is a violation of one of the T-Close standards of the administrative rules, 217. And they could possibly put China Grove in jeopardy for up to $1,000 per day per day of violation. And I just think what should have been done, of course, as a former chief administrator of the police department here in China Grove, that an F5 should have been done in a very timely manner. And evidently was not done. So these police officers are active in the eyes of the T-Close administration. And for those of you who don't know who T-Close is the administration that is in charge of all peace officers in the state of Texas. The San Antonio Police Department, Bexar County Sheriff's Department, all police departments. T-Close administers those rules. So I would just hope that the city would not put our funds in future jeopardy, because this can amount to a lot of money. On another matter, one could assume that because only 1 F5 was given, that perhaps they just wanted to get rid of one of the police officers. And this city should be aware of, back in 2013, personnel grievances were filed against the city of China Grove, against one of our councilmen here. And I've always been afraid of retaliatory remarks in regards to that policeman. So I just want to put the city to watch the funds of this city, not to jeopardize what has happened here. That's all my comments. Thank you. And I would like you, Mr. Attorney here, I'm sorry I don't know your name, no Frank Garza, but if you could please work on the code violations to the city of China Grove. The mayor says he's contacted you numerous times. The city staff here has also said they have contacted you on numerous occasions on this same violation. And it's been going on since November 16, 2013. And it is a fire hazard to my house, of which the fire chief, Mike Winfield, has spoken to this council on that particular piece of property. So that's it. Thank you so much.
Next person to speak, we need Alice Paul.
Mr. Mayor, Council, cities, residents here of China Grove, I'm here again to ask about the meetings being resumed back to 7 o'clock versus 6 o'clock. Now, we did this for time change, I understand, is when it was voted on. When the last time change, now we're bringing forward. I asked for it to be on the agenda because, as I mentioned for the last 2 months, and it's been brought up 2 or 3 months prior to that, it's making it very difficult for people here in China Grove to attend these meetings by 6 o'clock. A lot of them don't even get off till 6 o'clock, or if they get off at 5:30, by the time they travel to their residence and get home and get over here, they're not making these meetings. I don't know why it was not put on the agenda. I requested it. I have a letter here that I sent to Linda Gill that it would be. I'm speaking out once again. I'm asking you please to consider changing that time back to 7 o'clock not for the convenience of this council, but for the convenience of the people here in the city of China Grove. I know we're working on finding out who's going to enforce code, the ordinances. I have an address that I'd like to report. I don't know where do I report it to. There's an activity going on, something's being built in my neighborhood that I know has no permit at this point that I know of. And I don't know where I'm supposed to turn this information or who's taking care of that. I do think there is something on the agenda where we might discuss that tonight. Maybe at that time we can follow up. And you can tell me at that time maybe, since it's going to be coming up on the agenda, like where I can file this complaint to. I understand our phones are not up to par. They're still not. Have they been? Thank you, because I called Monday and I got the old recording. So we have a new recording now? You can't respond, okay, but I love the smile because it's telling me something positive. I like hearing that. I like seeing that. Thank you for that smile. And I will not go into what I picked up this week, which I always read the Wilson County News because this is where our information is printed in case anybody out there in the audience don't know anything that has to do with the city of China Grove will appear in our Wilson County News. And unfortunately, I was going to also bring up what I read on page 6A, which was about the police department and the situation, but since Mr. Dunk spoke on that, I'm not going to take up any more time. Here once again, poor administrative work is all I can say. Thank you.
Next person speaking, Larry Colson.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Larry Colson. I own CF Construction, me and my partner Robert Friesenhahn. We own a property at 6825 East Highway 87, where Bill State used to be, if most of you know. And we are ordered to offer our services. We see that the building here, the trim needs to be painted. If y'all will get us the color, we will paint it for no cost to the city and also the pylon sign. Just want to let y'all know that. If you don't get me a color, we'll do that for free. Thank you.
Anyone else wants to speak for the council?
Mayor, council members, I represent a church who's considering coming in here in China Grove. And I see that on the agenda today, item 6F, we want to talk about possibly implementing a special use permit for churches to come in. I just wanted you to consider that the church would also be using the daycare as an ancillary use to their services, and they would also like to consider using the daycare services for the rest of the community. So if you would please consider that as you're talking about the special use permit.
Go on to the next item. Nobody else to speak? Next item on the agenda, item 5, old business. Consider an act upon a business request for a business permit for fast response rentals and all field services, 6825 Highway 87 East.
Good evening, I'm Marcus Lenz, Fast Response. We would like to move our operations into 6825 and basically what we do is hot shots. We run pumps and equipment for Godwin, or Godwin now. And we just have trailers parked there and have offices inside of the shop area.
We submitted a drawing to y'all. They want if you're looking at the building, they want the right half of the building, which is one bay door, and they're gonna split the man door with that have a barbecue. And they will have about 1/3 of the building and the offices upstairs. They have a restroom up the stairs for them, and then also Jake, which is next, they have a restroom downstairs for Jake. and we submitted that to y'all, a couple weeks ago.
The welding shop that's gonna be there, it's there now.
Bad Habit Barbecues, is next on the agenda. He wants to move in next. No, he's next on the agenda.
I've got two here, I'm just trying to figure out what's what.
Yes, sir.
No, the first one.
What's the first floor and what's the second floor?
Just over here for just a second, I got a question. That John? That John? Is that you? Okay, I just wanna make sure I'm not mixing this gentleman up over here. Thank you so much.
Is there any improved surfaces to park on over there?
It is asphalt.
There's asphalt out front, and on the side of the building, we brought in, crushed concrete. On the side, if you look at the building, on the left-hand side, it's all crushed concrete that we brought in.
On the side where the welding shop would be?
Yes, sir, on the far side of it, yes, sir. But right next to the building, there's concrete, and in front of the whole building, there's asphalt. Yes, sir, for parking. And then across from the building, there's also parking, for everybody to park there too also, yes, sir.
So we spoke last week, last month, I'm sorry, and I'm not sure if you were here.
They did not attend this.
Okay. Can you, no, step over. I don't know right there, I just want to ask, the number of vehicles, you're the owner.
Yes, sir, we own the property, yes, sir.
You're gonna lease this business as yours, correct?
Correct.
And you work for it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and how many vehicles? Five, I were told 5 vehicles, I think, is that council?
Did you read the page?
There's three.
Read that page here?
I see this,
No, keep going forward,
This
forward, forward, the other way.
There's three
Yeah,
six
John.
right there.
3 to 7.
Very first page,
that's what I'm looking for. Got it,
keep going.
I got it.
Okay,
I got the 2 of them.
there you go.
It is, looking at this area, you're mainly just having the pumps there, right?
No, just the trailers. Pumps would be if something needs to stay overnight, it'd stay on a trailer,
Mhm.
if absolutely need be. But mainly it'd just be trailer parking and then working offices out of
Did you run down the Xylem down there and pick up pipe or pump or
the,
whatever?
right, we'll go down there, pick it up, drop it off, and then return, any exchanges.
That's why I use that trailer, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll make a motion if nobody has any more questions to grant the business permit. What is it, fast response, one fast response?
One fast response.
One fast response rental and oil field service LLC.
I'll second it.
We have a motion to grant permit to one fast response oil field by Councilman Trainer and a second by Councilman Christie. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion's carried. Next item on the agenda would be for a business permit, Bad Habits Barbecue Pits at 6825 Highway 70.
Yes, sir. I had talked to you all about my business. I own that at the barbecue pits. We've been in business for about 15 years. We have a really good quality product. We've always been about quality over quantity. And all I want to be in y'all's building over there in John Gray. I submitted the letter as well to explain a little bit about our products and
what you have to, and we apply for those kind of things.
Most definitely, thank you.
With that, I don't think I have any questions. I move that we, grant a promotion, a permit to Bad Habit Barbecue and Metalworks.
I'll second that motion.
Have a motion from Councilman Christie to approve the permit for Bad Habit Barbecue Pits and Metalworks. And second by Councilman Lips. And any discussion, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion is carried.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is to discuss who will enforce city ordinances without a police department. It's put on the agenda by us.
It was last month too, but we never really got an answer. I don't know why it's on there again. But anyway, please tell me, what do you know? I'm asking you.
We hope to go into executive session tonight and review some things and discuss some personnel personnel that issues that we have, and start up the department maybe. We put an ad in the paper to see if we could get someone to come in. We only had one response.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to ask though, I know we're, y'all going,
She's gonna have this conversation.
I'm sorry?
Can you step up here, please? This is your item. Come on up, please.
This was my item last month. And here I am
You
again.
don't want it on this month?
Oh, yes, I do, because you never gave an answer. What I'm trying to find out is who's going to reinforce the ordinances. And Mayor Ricks is trying to explain this to me. And you said that y'all are going to go into session to discuss this through the police, are you hiring somebody from the police department to find out who's going to reinforce these ordinances? Am I correct?
You probably have a personnel discussion in the executive session. Just talk about restarting the police department with certain personnel.
And then then the police department will be responsible, I guess, once again to do,
Code enforcement
okay.
and
But
other.
what about the officers that we still show as being employed with us? So we don't have police officers then? That's what was written in the...
That's not the agenda item. The agenda item is who will enforce the code enforcement without the police department. That was what Mark says. I would like to add that I sent to the city secretary last week a model citizen complaint form that any citizen can come and file with the city. The judge will issue a bench warrant, and we can send somebody out to issue either a summons or a complaint on anybody who's violating the code.
Okay, so in other words, if we have a situation like that, we can go to the ladies, get this form, fill it out, and then it will be taken care of through...
We'll review it, we'll present it to the judge, and if we believe that an offense has been committed, the judge can take action for it.
Okay, and will that even take place after we get our officers back in?
Yes, that was the intent. The citizens can come in and file.
Right, I understand that, but what I'm saying, after the police officers are back with us, will they be the ones, or will the judge be the one?
The police officer issues the citation.
Uh-huh.
The citation commands them to appear before the judge. That's all it does. The judge then decides whether or not that is a case that will go forward along with the prosecution, and if it is, it's a complaint is filed with municipal court, and the case is set for trial, or the individual comes in and pleads on the citation that he's been issued. Separate and apart from that, you have the right as a citizen to come in and fill out a complaint and swear to it, and that will be presented to the prosecutor and to the judge. That is a different process, that is something that gives you the ability to act without having to rely on anybody other than yourself to come in and do that.
Okay, well, this is all new to us because this is not how it was done before, so that's why I want to get a clarification. So I will definitely, earlier when I was asking about a particular notice that, possibly is being,
You can come in.
you can file that with them then. That answers my questions for when I came up earlier. Thank you, Mr. Reps.
Under new business, consider an act on a permit for Velda Baker, who wants to open a business, Texas Toes, at 7150 Whipplewell Lane, number 2.
It's just a small retail business. I'll be selling ladies' accessories, handbags, toe rings, jewelry, just things to make our ladies look good.
I'm somewhat familiar with this, I think the building here in relation to say the, that Mexican food place, is it right next to?
Okay, there's a Mexican food place, there's a Rambo truck, and I will get into the next one.
The other one is the only one?
That was Marlowe.
Yeah,
Down the road.
So-
That's very, okay.
So they still have the-
Picture one in all.
They still have that trucking company there, then
Yes,
they still have their offices, and then you would be on the other
be
side.
next to it, yes, sir.
You will just be selling items, you will not be doing any kind of manicure, pedicure, any of that
No,
kind
ma'am.
of stuff.
What normal business hours, I'm guessing?
Probably, yeah,
8 to
8
5?
to 6,
8 to 6,
Yeah.
Monday through Friday, weekends, maybe?
maybe Saturday, probably not Sunday. I need one to clean house.
How big is that suite?
It's about 800 square feet, I think.
How many employees, just yourself?
Just me. Until I grow, then I may have some more, but just me right now.
We've had some issues with the septic system on the building before, it's not very large.
Right,
That's the
okay.
reason why I'm asking.
No, it'll just
Got
be
a
me.
lot of employees using a restroom, you may have some issues down the road.
Okay,
Are you manufacturing them there, or
no.
you just buying a resale?
So,
Anything for the council?
I'd like to make a motion that we issue the business permit to Velda Baker to open the business Texas Toes on Whipplewell.
We have a motion on the floor to issue a business permit to Velda Baker for Texas Toast.
I think John spoke up first, so.
We have a second by John. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is carried. See the secretary on the business permit.
Welcome to the city.
Next item on the agenda is consider and act upon the appointment of a council member to replace council vacancy in Massengale and administer the oath of office to appoint council member.
Madam Mayor, I would like to make a motion that we appoint Margie Holinsky to, start out the, remaining term till May of 2015.
I will second that motion.
We have a motion on the floor to appoint Margie Holisky to fill the unexpired term, the vacancy of Massengale. We have a second by
I can say there might be another nomination.
You have a motion and a second, so you
I have
can
to-
take action
I have
on
to-
this one. If it doesn't pass, then you can take action on it.
We have a second on the motion from Councilman Prisky. Is there any discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, say opposed.
Mayor, you guys can vote.
As the mayor, I cast a vote, since we do not have since we have a tie vote here. I'll invoke the privilege of casting a vote, and it would be for Marty Zalisky.
Motion passes.
Motion is carried.
Is Ms. Felicia here?
Yes.
Swear in.
We can swear you in now? Okay, we need to adjourn the meeting for about a minute or two.
Mayor, do you want to do this, or do you want to have the city secretary swear? You raise your right hand, please.
Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully and diligently perform the office involved in the that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of Alderman of the city of Chapel, state of Texas, and will to the best of my ability, protect and defend, preserve, protect and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States, the Constitution and laws of the United States, and of this state, so help me God.
That's it. Just have her sign it.
Welcome. Restart the meeting.
Yes. Thank you. We have an extra one.
You have an extra back?
Next item on the agenda is consider an act amending the city personnel rules and consideration of adopting a revised employee personnel manual. The city attorney gave us a basic manual to go with. And I think the city secretary and, also the court clerk has been going through it and revised it somewhat to make it apply towards a smaller city as such, and not being a large city or something like this.
I haven't seen any of the reviews, so I don't know.
We're still working on it.
So did you want this just as a discussion item, or?
I guess.
I was looking at my records and I had sent a proposed personnel manual on the 3rd of December, and I guess they've been looking at it since then.
Yeah, and they've been revising it to be more of a small city, that you don't have all these people
Right.
in that manual.
Right. Well, it was a template.
Yeah, it's just something to go on that gives process of hiring someone that they have background checks to drug testing necessary, things of this nature, how they're paid. When they're paid and days off, that they're working, hours they're working, things of this.
Well, I don't think there's any action other than just to talk about it. I mean, there's nothing to present this evening, is there?
No, we haven't finished. We're still,
Okay.
we need some discussion one-on-one with some of the council, the mayor, to find out what they're thinking as far as.
Okay, let me table
Have
this.
they been provided with a draft of what you're working on?
Not yet.
Then there's no action that you can take. Just table it.
We'll table this in the next meeting. Item D,
Mayor, we've got a motion, so.
I have a motion to table this item, so
I'll make the motion.
Doug Christie made a motion to table it.
Table item D on the agenda. Excuse me, item
Let's
C,
see.
excuse me.
On the agenda, second by John McCray. All those in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion is carried. Item D, discussion of citizens' rights to question and express concerns regarding agenda topic. Alice,
Yes, I had asked this question before.
can you come up to the front?
Yes, I will for you, Mr. Ritz.
Thank you.
I was asking that question because, like I said, this council, everything's been changed a lot since the last time around, so there's been a lot of changes, and I just want to make sure. In the past, when we have something on the agenda, the citizens had the right to question or express their concerns about a particular, something that appeared on the agenda. And I want to know if that still remains the same in this council.
Is the question whether or not you have the right to speak to an agenda item?
Exactly,
Okay,
as a citizen.
I had this discussion today, and I understand that when you sign up to provide public comment, you can either provide public comment on any item that you choose to provide public comment on, which is the portion of the meeting where the council can't respond to you because
Right.
it's not on the agenda. Or you can sign up to speak to a individual topic. It's my understanding that that is allowed. You just need to indicate that on the sign-up sheet, and it is up to the chair whether or not they will allow public comment or not. If it's been done in the past, I imagine it was done the same way.
No, it was not, but that's why I wanted to know, because something came up and it was in discussion and it was going, they weren't sure if they were going to approve something or not. they would sometimes speak out and ask the citizens. I mean, I've seen that happen before. This person lives next door to you, do you think that would be an issue? You understand what I'm saying?
The chair always has the right to ask somebody to come to the podium and to address the council on a particular item. My understanding of your question is whether you have a right.
Right, I'm asking both
whether or not they
ways.
want your input or not to come and provide.
Yes.
And my
So,
understanding is, and I need to, I don't know with the city secretary, when they sign up for public comment, can they sign up for an individual agenda item?
Well, it's my understanding that if they want to speak to an agenda item,
They just write it on the
they
sign.
wait to be, well, yeah, they ask permission, and it's up to the mayor to call them to the front. They can't just come to the front and stand up and start speaking. The mayor has full control of the
Right, well,
meeting.
when they sign in at the beginning of the meeting, what is it they're signing in for? Is it just general public
It's just
comment?
citizens to be heard on the list right now.
So,
I can make a separate one for the agenda items.
yeah, I'm not telling you to do that, that is a way to do it.
okay, that's what I want to know, like, how do we comment on something on the agenda if we want to? I mean, if, you know, like you said, the mayor has to recognize, is that correct, that person?
If there's an agenda item that they're wanting somebody to come address, they always, as the governing body, the mayor, as the presiding officer of the meeting, who runs the meeting, can say, Mrs. Pollock, come up here and talk to us about this issue. If he doesn't do that, then you do not have a right to come to the front and to address the meeting unless he just lets you do it. Now, some cities, if you sign up, and you must do this before the meeting, you sign up for public comment, which is just to come up here and talk about whatever subject you want to talk about. If you want to speak to an individual agenda item, then my understanding is that you're not required now to write that down, but that we can have two sign-up sheets, one for general comment and one to address. And you can do both. You're not limited to one or the other. And if the city allows that, then you do have the right to come speak to the agenda item and the mayor will call.
And that person that would recognize you would be the mayor, is that
The
correct?
mayor, all comment is directed to the chair.
Great, okay. Well, that answers that question. It's like I said, things have been changing, so I just wanted clarification on it.
And the council, if you want that, you have to direct your city secretary to do that, because I don't think that currently is being done.
You know, it hasn't been done in the past.
So we've always done it that way, it would be better if we would do that. We've always listened to the citizens.
Right.
I can remember that's how I.
Well, the only, the reason you sign in is so you have some order. People aren't just standing up all over the meeting and talk.
Okay.
And
Well, that's-
if somebody wants to speak to an agenda item,
Then they just.
requiring them to sign in is.
And it gives them, if the judge, excuse me, the judge, if the mayor acknowledges them to speak, then it's
No,
okay.
if the council adopts a procedure allowing you to do it, then you
Right.
have the right. You know? So they'll call the agenda item, say, they'll look to the city secretary, has anybody signed up to speak to this item? And she'll say yes or no. If she says yes, who is it? And that person comes forward.
Comes up and they can
If nobody has signed up, then they just
go on with the next.
consider the item and
Go to the
and then move on to the next.
Okay, very well. Thank you for that
So
clarification.
Mayor, if you guys want to take action on that, you can direct your city secretary by a motion to prepare two separate sign-in sheets, one for general comment and one to speak to an agenda item. It's up to you all.
As the mayor, I just want to add just a little something to it. They have, it allows me to put things on an agenda, so I have been letting people, such as yourself, put things on the agenda so they could be addressed, because they weren't being addressed, and the citizens want to be heard.
Right, well, that's what I was told
but-
to do. That's
Right.
what I was told to do.
Right,
Well,
but
I think these These are two different questions. You're not asking, how do you get something on the agenda?
No, I'm asking if you can comment on something, and you're telling me if they propose, I mean, if this was voted on, that they say yes, you'll have a separate sheet, I'll sign in, I want to speak on this particular agenda deal, and it would be, and I'd be able to do it, correct? Am I understanding you?
That's how it's usually done.
Okay,
And you can sign up for both. You can come in here and talk about something that's not on the agenda. The only catch to that is the council can respond to you.
right.
If it's on the agenda,
Then they
you
can.
provide your input, they can ask you questions.
I understand. I think that's very fair.
And
And it gives the citizens a right then to express.
And I'm
themselves.
allowing the citizens to, put something on the agenda right now unless it gets out of hand.
Right, right. But how else other would we be able to address something like that if we weren't able to put it on the agenda? If we had a concern and if we couldn't put it on the agenda,
One would be
what would happen?
go to a councilman or the mayor.
Oh, directly?
Just call
A direct
just call
contact?
council
Oh,
first.
see, I didn't know that.
We can bring anything forward.
Okay, okay. See, I did not know that. That I could go to one of my,
Please do.
council people to do that. I thought it had to be addressed at a meeting. Is that correct? Are they correct on that?
The mayor decides what goes on the agenda. If the council member asks something to put on the agenda, the mayor generally will put it on there, but it's ultimately the mayor's
Mayor's
decision
decision.
what goes on the agenda.
Okay.
If two council members ask him, then it has to go on the agenda.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. Got that clarified.